Please more, please, someone please bid on that car. So after university in Halifax, it's a bit of an interesting, it's a small town in a lot of ways, it's a city in others, it's a great place, awesome place. I was born there, but I grew up in a neighboring province, New Brunswick, just outside of a city called St. John. All small areas, but after university I decided I would move home, and in moving home I started working with Dad at the dealership. I'd always been around the dealerships growing up. He had a Volkswagen dealership, a Hyundai dealership, and I'd always been around the sales aspects of it and worked other retail jobs. So he instantly trusted me with lots of responsibilities that perhaps I shouldn't have it. And this is a small operation, mind you. Like he stepped well back when he went into the used car world, and it was just him and I often. We'd have a third helping hand every now and then for if we needed it, plus mechanics and down the road that we would use that we'd outsource to and whatnot. But it's a small operation. It's a small, very family-friendly sort of used car dealer. But typically speaking, the second hand or the third hand that he had would never be allowed to auction by. They would never be allowed, but he entrusted me almost instantly. And in doing so, me and my need for speed and the motorsports background in the family was often caught daydreaming and looking at cars at the auction that we had absolutely no demographic or market for. Oftentimes Mitsubishi EVOs, which when I was younger, I had quite a fascination with. And one day he, for whatever reason, was in a jubilant mood and just said, feel free to bid on it, but don't go over 18 grand. And he knew it would sell for more than that. It was a 2010 Mitsubishi EVO X MR at the time. Fair enough, I clicked a few times and it went over 20 and I thought, nah, I'll click a few more. Why not? It's not gonna sell to us. There's 3 of us in the bidding war and it's online bidding for auctions. And for anyone who's done it, you know that you can kind of bait people. In fact, I've seen tactics where one dealer will get his friend to bid on his car to push it up so that the other party will get it for more money, which is very common in the car dealer world with online bidding. So I was kind of pushing and just kind of baiting and trolling along these 2 other fellows that were bidding on it. And I clicked bid at 25.5 and instantly it just stopped. And I went, oh, wait a minute, come on. And I'm hearing, because you get a webcam and you can hear the announcers, 25.5, anyone want more. I'm going, please more, please, someone please bid on that car. And the reserve was set, I think, for 27, and they did say that. Anyway, it sold to me and I thought, that's not good. This is a problem. This is more than what we, have on the credit line for the dealership, and it's a car we're never going to sell, even if, we could pocket it, whatever. It just wasn't going to sell in our town, and it would attract a lot of the wrong crowd that was rubbernecking, and you'd just come in and waste your time. And I remember buying it and thinking, well, I'm just not going to say anything, and maybe the reserve won't be matched. Maybe they'll refuse the offer, and that'll be that. 30 minutes later, the dealership phone rings, and it's Dad. And Dad, who was out at motor vehicles registering other vehicles for customers, instantly greets me with the most warming greeting ever. You, in what? Whoa, calm down, what do you mean? You bought the EVO? Dad, I bid on it, I didn't buy it. Well, no, they just called, you bought it, congratulations. And he hangs up the phone instantly. And I'm thinking, well, great, this is on me, 100%. Like, I'm gonna end up paying cash for this to make Dad's problem go away now at this point in time. It's just not what we need on the lot. I'd have to check, I think it was August, and we were heading into winter, which is also the wrong time to buy a sports car, in Canada especially. Anyway, the auction calls, I even call the auction and say, hey, sorry, little boy got on Daddy's account, didn't mean to. And nope, no way, sorry, not a chance. And I knew there was no chance, but just trying to see if we could push some buttons here. So we got the car. We had it for about a week, and we were still panicking what to do with it. We drove it a few times, obviously. We were gonna drive it a few times if it was there. Even Dad was okay with that, at least. We got a call from a lobster fisherman who exports a ton of lobster, like millions of pounds of lobster to China, and he says, my son is moving out west, and he wants this car and this car only, and that's it. And we were like, well, we got the car for you. We'll cut you a deal even. And obviously you mark it up. He said, don't worry about that, as long as you can have the car to Nova Scotia and deliver it to us where we live. No problem, done, right? Great, let's get this off our hands. But to go to Nova Scotia, it just so happened, as if I couldn't make things any worse with the EVO, it was also the same weekend as a time attack at Atlantic Motorsport Park. The real AMP, by the way, not to be confused with Atlanta Motorsport Park, the other AMP. So I said, well, Dad, there's a time attack that weekend. And he said, you're not driving the EVO, instantly. And I thought, well, that's that. He said, but we have the Mazda Speed 3. which is actually, I really enjoy the Speed 3s. The Gen 1s had great rotation in the rear end, good front wheel drive, good torque. Hot hatches have gone a long way, and now it's not so special as it used to be with the, the Type R and everything else that's out there, the RS. But at the time, I really enjoyed those cars, and for a dealer car to go to a time attack, that was about as good as it was going to get. I had a set of Toyo 888s to put on it, and I thought, whatever, I'll go give it my all. So I go over to the time attack, but the deal is this is the car we have to get home in after we sell the Evo, because we're dropping that off. I wake up at another fellow friend of the family's house, and he tells me, to get to the track, it's about 30 minutes from here. You should get up at this time, go. I got up at that time, but I didn't realize he didn't include a shower into that, and I didn't really do the math, so I was a little late. And I was cruising to the track, like cruising. And I remember calling my dad at the gas station saying, yeah, I'm on the way, I'm just filling up, everything's good. And I got on the highway and I see coming the other way a tow truck flatbed with a crashed SUV, like superintendent sort of high-level RCMP car. And I'm thinking, oh, that's weird, I'm getting an accident, poor guy. Haha, I get along very well with the RCMP and I respect the work they do, but it's just one of those comical things, right? The police are in an accident. So then another cop car comes by about 5 kilometers later, and I go, oh yeah, that's weird, there's two. But there was an accident, he's probably coming back. And then a Mustang Cruise goes by, and then a third one goes by, and I think, okay, that's the third car, there's only gonna be 2 at that accident, 3's a charm, I'm in the clear now. So I get it back up, and I'm doing kilometers, mind you, I'm doing about 181, 185. And I come around the corner, and it's a corner with an overpass, and I look under it, I'm always looking far ahead, and I just see another cop waiting in the middle in another SUV, and I'm thinking, they radioed ahead 100%. So I pull over, he comes up behind me, lights on, license, registration, proof of insurance. And I gave it to him, sorry sir. He goes, where are you going? And about the worst thing I think you could say in that moment when you're speeding down the highway is, well sir, I'm going to the racetrack. Which actually in some ways could be used as a good thing, I thought to myself. So I kept that in the back of my mind. He said, well, why are you speeding before you get there? I said, well, actually, I normally don't. I go to the track so I get my speeding out of me, which was my way of spinning it, and to be safer on the road, which is all true things. It makes you a better driver, and I'm certainly safer on the road for my racing experiences. But I don't think he liked that. He said, well, why are you speeding now? And I said, well, I was late for the driver's meeting. First, we do the procedural stuff, so he goes back. And there's a new stunting charge in Canada. I don't know if it applies down here, but 50 over any posted speed limit is considered stunting, which is a criminal act that can be up to a $10,000 fine, instant impounding of the car, 7-day suspension, and like I said, could entail more criminal discipline depending on what's in there, and it's designed to shut down street racing, etc., and dangerous driving. And I think he got me at less on the radar, him himself, but he had another officer report that I was doing 170 something, and I think he got me for about 150. He goes back and comes up and he goes, well, I think you know where this is going. And I said, well, I think I do, but I hope it's not. And he said, I'm sorry, we're gonna have to impound the car. And at this point, actually, I'd talked him down and we were joking around, and he said, who's the car belong to? I said, a dealership. He said, why are you driving it so quickly if it's a dealership? I said, well, it's kind of my demo, etc., and it's the family dealership. And I leveled him down. No sooner though, because they needed more evidence, did one of the other cops turn around and come back and come up to the window and start yelling at me and just berating me and coming on to me. And to the point where the other officer had to take him aside and said, no, actually, he's fine. He's calm, like he's actually pretty good. And we were telling jokes by the end of all 3 of us, but it seemed really odd to me and I couldn't figure out why. And I've found out why since, but I'll come back to that. Anyway, so they impound the car, and as I'm pulled over, he goes, is there anyone you can call to get you to where you need to go? And I said, well, there's not, actually. And then no sooner actually did one of the RX-7s that was going to the track drive by said, he's going to the track. They said, well, call him. I said, I don't know his number. And I was kind of playing with them at that point. I said, well, what about, so-and-so that you stayed with last night, who's a well-known race car driver and car dealer, owns quite an established dealership in that very small local area where we were on the highway. And I said, well, he's at work, and I think you know him as well as I do because he's well-known. They said, yeah, we know him. I said, he's just going to laugh at me. And they said, that's probably true. So I said, why don't I just go with the tow truck driver, get me where I'm going? I said, chances are you're going to tow it in the direction I'm going. And they said, that's fine, as long as you can get someone to pick you up there. We just can't leave you on the side of the highway. Little did I know that the impound lot for this particular junction was right beside the track, like 5 minutes down the road from the track. Like, how perfect is this? So I go to the track, I get there, and everyone's looking around going, oh, you're here, well, you missed the driver's meeting. And then suddenly someone clues in and goes, where's your car? All right, let's not talk about that. But what we did figure out is that, hang on, I'm suspended, but the car's not actually mine, which means they can release it. So Dad calls them and says, I need this car to make a sale. Can you release it to someone else? And they said, well, we'll release it to anyone else as long as it's not that driver. So I just put up my hand at the lunch meeting at the track and said, does anyone want to go get my car? Sure enough, 10 people volunteered instantly, went down, got the car, got out for the afternoon session in time attack in an impounded car that was illegal on the roads, and I was a suspended driver. On the track, did the time attack, did about 6 laps, and actually stripped the wheel bolts after retorquing them twice, so I'm still a little annoyed by that. But we got the car back, we managed to get the wheel bolts sorted, and we sold the Evo the next day, but I couldn't drive home, so Mom had to come on the trip. We made a profit on the Evo, and I drove home with my tail between my legs, getting a lecture from my father, never to do that again. But both stories ended up well, but it almost was the end of me, I think. On top of that, I came to find out afterward in dealing with my race car, which was stolen, was that they were actually, and I didn't realize the extent of it, coming back from the accident with that officer because that morning they had a gentleman who'd left the party suicidal and decided to drive the wrong way down the highway, and they had to get permission to ram him off. So they were a little worked up, and then all of a sudden I come speeding along like a bullet, and they just think, great, how is this connected? Is it connected? Is this guy crazy? And yeah, so they came guns blazing, but we worked through it. It was pretty funny, and all in all, I mean, I guess good ending. I'm still part of the family. I still get fed by Mom when I go home, so that's the main thing.
Are you looking to buy your dream car? Premier Financial Services offers the flexibility of financing with the tax benefits of leasing. The PFS Simple Lease offers quick approvals and easy termination when you are ready for the next car. Visit our website and follow us for more.